James Harden is one of the best and most unguardable scorers the league has ever seen, as this is a guy who puts up 25 or more points for 7 consecutive seasons, shooting a league average from the field and shooting above average from 3. This is a guy who's consistently been regarded as a top 10 or 5 player in the NBA because he puts up MVP level stats with scoring averages that compares to the likes of Kobe Bryant, MJ, and Wilt Chamberlain, and led the Rockets to 7 playoff appearances and never missed the playoffs in his entire tenure with the Rockets. Although he puts up MVP level stats since the 2017 season and before that and put the Rockets to a top 5 or 3 seed in the tough Western Conference, we all know that James Harden plays his best basketball in the regular season, but once it's playoff time, he will crumble in the biggest stages, as there will be numerous times where he will be passive aggressive and just flat out underperform when his team really needed him the most. For instance, Game 6 was the 2017 West Semis against the Spurs, or before that, Game 6 was the 2015 Western Semis against the Lob City Clippers, where the Rockets beat the Clippers without Harden on the floor in the fourth quarter in the entire series of the West Finals, or in 2018 in Game 7 of the West Finals against the KD Warriors, where he'll be breaking so many 3-point shots. Harden in his tenure with the Rockets has never made it to the finals, and even with the right teammates and coach, it has always been the same result every single year: get bounced in the first, second, or in the West Finals due to Harden's underperformance. Now Harden is 31 and he's one of these players that needs to win a championship to rewrite his legacy, as this current team that he is in right now, there are not enough to propel them out west. And all the latest news of Harden partying with Lil Baby and fights with teammates pretty much shows that he ain't trying to stay in Houston. Now I talk about how Houston needs to just trade Harden in one of my article posts in the Amino app, and by the way, if y'all want to check out one of my posts, I talk basketball on the Hardware Amino app and I talk football on the Gridiron Amino app, so follow me in both of these platforms on the Amino app. These links are in the description below if y'all want to check out one of my short takes on both of these sports. But anyways, if Harden really wants to win a championship, then he needs to play at a team that benefits his playstyle, and I believe that Harden on the Nuggets with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic will push them to a real title contender in the NBA, which we'll discuss in this video. Hey man, this is the A-Man Show, back at it again for more content. Before this video starts, make sure y'all subscribe to my channel for more NBA and NFL content. I'm trying to upload 1 or 2 videos a week, and 94% of people who view my channel are not subscribed to my channel. So I would appreciate it if y'all subscribe and or drop a like if y'all really enjoyed this video, and turn on the notification bell on the right hand corner so that way y'all don't miss any of my new videos. Anyways, Lego.
I pay my dues, now I'm a made man. I call my fame, now I'm a made man. You never see me again. I got the juice, now I'm a made man.
So throughout last offseason, it's obvious that the Harden and D'Antoni era is over, as Russell Westbrook would get traded to the Wizards for John Wall in a first round pick. And the biggest topic in that offseason is where is James Harden going to be traded to? And the biggest trade destinations are the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, why the Brooklyn Nets trade didn't work? Kevin Durant directly said it in the media that he never heard from James Harden wanting to play with him and Kyrie. And even if Houston and Brooklyn wanted to make that trade, why would James Harden want to play with KD and Kyrie, two pretty ball-dominant players? They're just going to take turns with the ball. There will be limited ball movement. It's just going to be a disaster, similar to KD and Westbrook back in OKC, where both of them are ball dominant and taking turns of the offense. And worse yet, Westbrook can't space the floor either, despite both of them being insanely talented. And as for the Sixers team as a whole fits well with Harden's playstyle more, because they have shooters such as Seth Curry, Danny Green. Tobias Harris has the ability to play off ball and a good spot-up shooter, and Joel Embiid is one of the best big men in the NBA. And with Harden on the roster, at which he can space the floor even more, which leads Embiid having more post-up opportunities to operate. But this trade didn't work because they have to include Ben Simmons in the trade, and the Sixers are not looking to trade Ben Simmons. If they were to, Ben Simmons in the Rockets starting lineup would just be awkward because they have Wall and Cousins on the lineup, and both Wall and Simmons need the ball, and it's just not going to work. So right now, if the Rockets are considering trading James Harden this season, the best bet for the Rockets is is to trade Harden to the Nuggets. Because the Nuggets last season made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic fucking killing it in the playoffs, coming back from 3-1 deficits in the playoffs. This team on paper is a dark horse championship contender, and right now they're not playing like that in the first 8 games based on what I saw, but the season is still early right now. The only concern about this team is that they barely acquire players to better this team last offseason. They lose key players such as Jeremy Grant, who's their best defensive player and stepped up on offense in the playoffs last season. In turn, they signed JaMychal Green in the offseason, who is a great bench player, but he is not as good on offense or on defense as Jeremy Grant. But still, at least you have some defense, I guess. But anyways, to make a trade to acquire Harden, the Nuggets have enough tradable assets to get him, such as Will Barton, Gary Harris, and a future first-round pick from the Thunder to get Harden. This is such a perfect trade because right now Gary Harris hasn't been playing good at all in these 8 games. But in the previous years, he has been a solid role player and a good defensive player, and signed a contract worth $84 million for 4 years. And I believe that he can step up his game later in the year. And for Will Barton, Barton is a good starting wing option for any playoff team in the NBA. And also, he has a contract worth $53 million for the next 4 years. So trading them to the Rockets will consist a lineup of Wall, Harris, Barton, Wood, and Cousins. Sure, they don't have Harden on the roster, but still, this is a team that can compete in the West with John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins leading the way and freeing some cap space and taking on less money. As for the Nuggets get a superstar in James Harden, who's capable to be the guy on a championship contender, with Nikola Jokic, who's a top 10 or 15 player in the NBA, and Jamal Murray is a star level player. And not to mention, they still keep MPJ and Bol, who have extreme potential. And for Harden's contract, he only has 3 more years left of his contract because the 4th year he has a player option. In terms of fit, the Nuggets are a team that emphasizes on ball movement and spacing, as Jamal Murray is an excellent off-ball player because he has the ability to shoot lights out from 3, and Nikola Jokic is the best playmaker in the NBA and also has the ability to space the floor, and also adding guys like a Paul Millsap, who shot 44% from 3, and while not being as good as a defender that he once was back with the Hawks, and MPJ and Bol, these players can space the floor while also having more talent than the Rockets. And that's what James Harden needed to operate in the offense. Harden is a guy who uses the pick and roll very often, and he's the reason why Clint Capella has been an all-star. And I believe that he can do the same with Jokic, as he was unguardable at the post against the Clippers in the playoffs, even without a playmaker to set him up. Imagine with Harden, who averaged 10 plus assists per game and is an elite pick and roll playmaker. They're going to be one of the most feared offenses in the NBA. The only thing for this trio to work is Harden needs to sacrifice his numbers for the betterment for this team, because sure, Harden will have isolation plays because that is his game, but he's not going to be handling the ball as much as he did in Houston, as he has one of the highest usage rates in the NBA for quite some time, and he just can't do it with Jokic and Murray on the same roster with him. Harden has his fair share of averaging 30 points per game for the past 3 seasons, and due to that is being mostly an ISO and pick and roll playmaker. But before Mike D'Antoni came to change Harden's game, Harden used to play off ball. Not only that he can shoot and take mid-range shots, but he was a more aggressive slasher. Harden was a more complete player in his early years at Houston, and he needs to have that same play style with the Nuggets. It is time to sacrifice Harden, because at his age as of right now, and with this roster in the Houston Rockets, they are not going to win a championship, and he knows that he's not going to win a championship with the Rockets. And sure, the organization has gone pieces he needed for him to succeed. Mike D'Antoni, Eric Gordon, Trevor Ariza, Clint Capella, PJ Tucker, eventually Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook. And with Paul on the roster, Harden should have won a championship in 2018 if he hadn't been bricking so many threes, but not just him, or just underperforming and choking countless of times at the biggest stages of his career. If he really wants to win and erase all of his failures by winning a championship, then a trade to the Nuggets is the best place for Harden to go based on his play style and so much talent on the roster with playoff experience. Basically pull a Kevin Garnett where he was with the Minnesota Timberwolves, where he began getting bounced in the first or second round in every playoff appearance and demanded a trade and got traded to the Celtics, where he won a ring with Pierce, Allen, and Rondo in his first season with the Celtics. And the reason why they won is because he sacrificed his numbers to win a championship. And that's what needs to happen with Harden with the Nuggets. Because let's be honest, the Nuggets with the current roster is not good enough to go up against the Lakers with AD and Braun, with the additions of Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, Marc Gasol, and Wesley Matthews. Right now, they're coasting during the regular season, but once it's playoff time, they're going to play their best basketball, and they're going to be the team to beat in the Western Conference. And also add in the Los Angeles Clippers. And as long PG gets his mind right, they're going to be a team that can win the West. Portland has improved with the addition of Robert Covington always being an elite 3-and-D guy. I mean, the West will always be the Western Conference, and if the Nuggets want to go to the next level and not only compete with the Lakers, but actually beat the Lakers and win an NBA championship, then they should pursue and trade for Harden before the trade deadline. A team with Harden, Murray, and Jokic on the same team, along with keeping all the young players on this team, man, that is a team that can win 1 or 2 championships, and most importantly, Harden being the best player on the championship team, that will greatly boost his legacy, because him winning MVP while winning a championship with a finals MVP, that is for sure is going to put him in the discussion or even rank him as high as top 5 or top 3 shooting guard of all time if Harden wins 1 or 2 championships. If that happens, then I might put him over Dwayne Wade, man. I might. But anyways, thank you for watching my video. If y'all really like this video, then drop a like and subscribe to my channel for more NBA and NFL content. My goal is to hit 100 subscribers by the end of March, and I again would appreciate it if y'all subscribe to my channel and also click on the notification bell on the right hand corner so y'all don't miss a beat. And also check out my article post on both the hardware and the gridiron in the Amino app. Anyways guys, this is the A-Man Show signing out.